Welcome to SVM's Blitz for Week 9 of the high school football season. I'm Dan Woessner alongside Patrick Petrosky and Christopher Heimerman. And in this edition, we'll be talking about the 4 Three Rivers North games for this week. Our first game in the Three Rivers North is the 4-4 Fulton Steamers going to Manulus to play the 3-5 Bureau Valley Storm. Fulton needs a win to get their 5th win and at least become playoff eligible. Sitting at 31 playoff points, they're going to need a lot of help to get in the playoffs even if they do win, but they got to take care of business first. They're coming off a big 37-13 win over Amboy last week, and they're on a roll. They've won 3 games in a row after falling to 1-4 to begin the season. They are also looking for their first winning season since 2007. BV, on the other hand, they're coming off a huge upset loss to Riverdale, 46-38. The loss harpooned the Storm's chances of making the playoffs. And unlike Fulton, BV would have had ample playoff points. They're sitting at 38 already going into this week. But unfortunately, they couldn't pull off a win against the winless Riverdale Rams. My prediction this week is that Fulton does get their 5th win, 28-22 over BV, but it probably won't be enough to get them into the playoffs.
Up next, we have the Morrison Mustangs sitting at 2-6, visiting the Riverdale Rams sitting at 1-7. Morrison ran into a top team for their conference last week and didn't take it well, as they lost to the Erie Provincetown Panthers 47-6. Riverdale is coming off a win at home last week, the first of the season for them. This was behind running back Terry White, who scored 5 touchdowns in a 46-38 win against Bureau Valley that Dan had just mentioned. Morrison has also run into some crucial injuries, and with the Riverdale Rams running on a high, I think the Rams will pick up their 2nd win in the season, 35-21.
Next, bring your floaties and get your sea legs ready. We're heading to the harbor, where the Newman Fighting Comets at 7-1 had to take on the Clippers of 2-6. And how the mighty Clippers have fallen a bit from a threat to win the 2A title last year. They lost to Mercer County in what a lot of people consider to be the de facto state title game. Well, this year they're probably inevitably a 2-7 football team and a North Division bottom feeder. Garrett Liebing had some very harsh criticism for his Clippers teammates last Friday. We'll see exactly what sort of spirit they're able to conjure up going into what's been a phenomenal rivalry over the years. But Newman, meanwhile, absolutely dismantled Sherrard 49-6 on Friday night. Meanwhile, the Clippers lost 37-13 to Fulton, as was just mentioned. The Comets 3, 4, 5, however many heads are on this monster that the Comets have. It's going to run rampant in this one, and unfortunately, and we all love a competitive game, I don't think this one's going to be terribly competitive. I'm going to take Newman over Amboy, 42-14.
In our lone Three Rivers crossover game this week, the Orion Chargers, who are sitting at 4-4, traveled to Erie to play Erie Provincetown at 6-2. Orion is coming off a 34-22 loss to St. B last week, and everything in their offense starts with quarterback Blake Matson. The Panthers, I don't think, have seen a quarterback that can throw this well. It's a good test for them going into the playoffs where they may run into a couple teams that prefer to throw rather than run the ball. The thing about Orion is they've only won 1 game against a team with a winning record, and that was 33-7 over Hall, who's 5-3 this year. But they're 0-4 against other teams with 500 and better records, including a loss to Fulton in Week 1. For EP, they romped past Morrison last week, 47-6. The story really hasn't changed with this team through this year. It's all about the option. It starts with fullback Nick Williams. If he doesn't get the ball, it goes to quarterback Ethan Howard quite a bit. And then you have 2 nice backs complementing that with speed with Jordan Chandler and Chris Bauer. They're a dangerous team. They are in the playoffs. This game for them is all about playoff seeding and maybe getting a home game that first round. My prediction is that EP does win it, but it's going to be high scoring, 36-30.